Sorry, Trace Atkins, you did not get all of it. Good morning and welcome to the Hodge Pack. Sports, life, and everything in between right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. We're live here up in the Potosi Live studio, getting ready for another Football Friday, baseball weekend. Everything's happening. We're glad that you're with us. Josh is here, Hodge is here, Misty will be on her way. And we are brought to you by Lytle Land and Cattle. Our guest appear on our Pest Control phone line, and it is time. Baseball is still alive, not only in postseason, but it's alive in Texas, and even doubly so, Josh.
Yeah, it's pretty big developments as far as that goes, and looking forward to what should be pretty. I mean, if nothing else, it'll be worth watching.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on. Of course, we got a jam-packed show. I say it over and over. Football season, you could have a 3-hour show, but then you add baseball in. There's so much to talk about. We've got an exciting show for you at the bottom of the hour. Our Big Country Electric My Town segment. We'll have Coach Danny Dungeon and Blake Carr, quarterback for the not for the Cowboys. We might be getting attacked based on what we saw last Sunday. Blake Carr, the quarterback for the Clyde Bulldogs, will join us. They got a big game. We had the Jim Ned Indians last week, Josh. This week we're going to have the Clyde Bulldog joining us in studio. And again, a big game tonight in Callahan County as Jim Ned will be traveling to Clyde to take on what a lot of people may think the battle of maybe the district champion. And so they'll be joining us. And then speaking of Big Country Electric Cooperative, Sarah McClin will be our you didn't know celebrity guest picker. We will thank her for so much of what the co-op has done, supporting the show from day one and giving us power here at our tower and all that they do. So appreciate Sarah, and she'll join us. But lots to talk about. So Josh, let's just dive into our Lawrence Hall headline report. One real quick golf note: the Shiners Golf Tournament is kicking off as the wraparound seasons begin on the PGA Tour. Bo Hostler is 9 under, and JT Poston is 8 under, along with Cameron Champ out there in Vegas. But the big news is Lexi Thompson is the 7th female golfer to play in a PGA Tour event. She's 1 over. She started really rough on the front, had a nice birdie and then a bogey and then a couple of double and another. She's battled back to 1 over with 2 holes left to play, and I saw somebody tweet that she's playing from the same tees. It's not like, hey,
you get the women's tees.
She would dominate even more so, I'm sure. But so anyway, Lexi Thompson out there in Vegas. So be checking out, following that, and see how that goes as well. Last night, Josh, we talked about it. You and I had texted that the Lord knew what He was doing, as He always does. For Sunday, our first game, the Cowboys do not play.
Monday. Yeah, but then they play at the same time on Monday. So
right. Well, you're going to need for 2 TVs, which that was what I was about to talk about. Because last night you had Thursday Night Football on Prime. You had the Braves and the Phillies playing Game 4, and then there was a Houston, West Virginia Big 12 game that might have been the best. Like if you were to rank them, Houston would battle, probably be in second because the importance of the game between the Braves and the Phillies. But last night the Houston Cougars, no time left on there's a little bit of time. Hail Mary, 49-yard touchdown pass, win against West Virginia last night on a bomb. Literally, the Hail Mary was answered. And I've been saying that Dana Holgorsen is one of those coaches that I think has some pressure.
He can't go get beat by the team he pieced out on.
Right. And so from the conference that he left.
Yeah.
And but they win last night. Donovan Smith, Steven Johnson connect for a touchdown last night as West Virginia. Mountaineers fall to the Houston Cougars in Big 12 matchup last night. And I'm glad that wasn't in our pick'em because I guarantee it, unless you got the reminder email, nobody would have picked it last night because so much was going on. Turning into now, the other thing that was on last night, again, you had the baseball game, which the Braves fall to the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll talk about that when we get to our baseball report. But there was a football game last night, and unfortunately, there was a lot more. It was just not very good. Thursday Night Football, it was all about Taylor Swift being in the booth with Brittany Mahomes and Kansas City winning last night 19-8. Probably another odd scoregami type score. But
yeah, very strange.
Russell Wilson, 95 yards, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Thank you for throwing it to Sutton. I have him on a fantasy football team because other than that, he was not very productive. But Josh, Thursday night football last night was pretty good.
It is always. I mean, it somehow manages to be a blah game when the Chiefs are playing, which you would at least think maybe they could like put up some offense and look, look exciting that way, and they can't even do that. So I mean, and I don't know why. I mean, just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and last night again, the Chiefs win 19-8. They get a touchdown at the end late. The Broncos did, and really it wasn't even that close. But all the media this week, because of Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, everybody's trying to figure out who do you blame for this? Who do you blame? Can Sean not fix Russell? Is Russell and them, do they just not jive? Is Russell losing? And what's crazy is they're talking about is Russell lost his ability to be a quarterback. Well, going into last night, he had actually had good stats. The defense is what was been terrible. Well, last night, the defense hold the Super Bowl champions to 19 points, and you can only muster it up 8, throwing 2 interceptions. So who do you think, and again, we'll try to make this a kind of a national thought, is that who do you blame? You got $200+ million on the field with Russell Wilson, but you're also got a ton of money invested in your coach. Who's the issue? How do you fix it, or can it be fixed?
Well, I mean, if I was going to point blame in this situation, I think you'd have to lean towards Russell Wilson because it's his second year, and he wasn't good last year. And the whole situation with Wilson is kind of mind-boggling for him to go from being that young up-and-comer guy, won a Super Bowl, got really close to winning a second Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls puts you in very rarefied air as far as quarterbacks goes. And then to, like, a weird enigma shell of his former self that I just can't get it together. So I would blame Russell Wilson. I don't know why. I don't know what exactly is wrong with him. But Sean Payton's inability to fix him, I don't know that anybody could fix him right now because the train derailed.
Well, and you just look, and they were talking about, I was listening to a show on the way in, and they were talking about Deshaun Watson may not play this weekend because he's not feeling well. The shoulder's bothering him. And I'm like, you've got 2 $200 million quarterbacks. And you've got one of them at 230 of it's guaranteed. And then you got another one that's still another $200 million guaranteed. And not only is it all guaranteed, Russell Wilson's is not 100% guaranteed like Deshaun Watson. But Russell Wilson cost you a lot of draft picks that you sent to Seattle that now
the capital investment.
Right. And you're not doing what the Rams did. When the Rams sold the farm and traded away Jared Goff and traded away and brought Stafford, it produced into a Super Bowl. All it's producing here is Walmart bought you, and you're not rolling back prices. You're rolling back wins because they're not happening.
Well, they've invested on the defense. Gregory being the most obvious from
our perspective, gone,
and they cut him, and they did so with their other defensive end that they had big contracts. Now I can't remember his name, but I read that yesterday.
Frank Clark.
Yeah, so they're
going to be gone. They said in the next couple of weeks he trade.
Yeah, they've announced they're trading him, so they're moving on. So it's like nothing has really worked out, and it's.
And if you go to try to tank now, let's say you tank, and you draft
Caleb
Williams,
you don't even have the draft picks to do so.
Well, but I'm saying if you don't do well, and you get the first round draft pick, which they may, but it looks like Carolina's on their way to getting back-to-back first-round draft picks, which would help the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're a little bit better now. I just don't think that you can find a way. One, you're in one of the toughest divisions in the AFC West because you have the Chiefs and you have the Chargers. And, heck, the Raiders found a way to beat the Packers, which may not be that big of a deal. But in all that, you're still having to find a way to mesh together because you're not just going to get rid of Sean Payton after year one. But now you got to find somebody. Do we just cut and suffer our losses of Russell's contract and move on? I don't know.
Well, didn't they trade draft picks for Sean Payton also?
Yes.
I mean, so it's like they've got investments thinking that those guys were good enough to not have to bring in the draft reinforcements, and it's not.
And it's not working. Well, and again, one of the things that as we continue and wrap up our Lawrence Hall headline reports, we want to talk a lot of baseball. But it's the third week in a row that, unfortunately, we have to announce the passing of one of the greats. And one of the greats Not only Dallas Cowboy, but Cowboys overall. Walt Garrison passes away at the age of 79. And just reading a lot of the story on DallasCowboy.com, talked about, of course, he played fullback for 1966 to 1974, and talked about how he really enjoyed not only cowboying on the football field, but a lot of cowboying off the football field. Steer wrestler, big rodeo guy, would go to rodeos the night before a game until Tom Landry found out about it and said, hey, I need you to stop doing it. And so, but anyway, the passing of Walt Garrison, Dallas Cowboy great, 1966 to 1974, passes away at the age of 79. And again, just talked about how even back then, contracts had, if you got hurt playing another sport, it would null and void. And unfortunately, he did get injured, steer wrestling, bulldogging, whatever you call it, and was unable. He said, actually, just made my decision. So, Walt Garrison the Great, passing away at the age of 79. When we come back, again, that's our Lawrence Hall Headline Report. We appreciate Lawrence Hall and all that they do. Trucks, cars, SUVs, service, and giving back to the community each and every day. So we appreciate all the folks at Lawrence Hall here in Appleton. When we come back, Major League Baseball, the First Bank and Trust Texas Rangers Report, along with the ALCS, the NLCS are set, and we're going to talk WWE style. Who's got the most superstars right after this? So baseball, schedule set. National League starts when?
Monday.
Now we got to talk about last night. Phillies win 3-1.
Three
Castellanos,
solo shots.
2 of them Castellanos, 2 of the third.
Turner.
Not Kyle Turner.
Trey. TREA. Trey.
It's 2 years in a row they've eliminated the Braves, right?
In the division round, yes. Molly picked all the same as me this week.
I have not.
I didn't let her see my picks either.
I have not filled out my picks. I'll do that now.
I've gone back and forth on whether I picked the Chargers or the Cowboys. I think I've changed it on my sheet like 3 times.
I really don't know.
I look at it once and I think the Cowboys can't play that bad that twice in a row, or maybe they could. And then like, well, the Chargers, they're not. I mean, they're 2-2 and they've not really looked that good. You know,
Well,
but then like
And that's one of the things I want to talk, because I don't miss the week here. I want to talk the college week, but I also want to give us enough time to recap last weekend's debacle with the Cowboys. And I think we need to spend some time on that. So we may play that at 8 o'clock. Here, we got some really good college games this weekend. I want Washington to win.
I don't think they're going to.
Oregon to beat them. I think if it was at Oregon, I would agree. I think playing at Washington helps.
I think it's quite the coin flip, really, as far as if you're going to make a pick. You okay?
Huh?
So are you okay? There's something I meant to send you that I wanted you to key up. I forgot what it was.
Baseball.
No, YouTube for later. I can't remember that.
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Pack, Sports Life and everything in between. It's time for our First Bank and Trust Texas Ranger Major League Baseball report. The good thing is we can still call it the Texas Ranger report because it's not talking about off-season acquisitions, off-season vacations, because the Texas Rangers did over the week since we were last on the air, took care of the Baltimore Orioles, winning in 3 straight games. They are 5-0 in the playoffs with the Astros coming down. But want to briefly talk about last night, so we set up everything for you as we move into the ALCS and the NLCS. Last night, the Philadelphia Phillies take down the Atlanta Braves, the big favorite, I would say, to probably win it all. Philadelphia winning last night 3-1. And Josh, they did it in very home run derby fashion, really throughout the series.
Yeah, last night was 4 solo home runs with 4 runs scored in the game. One for the Braves with Austin Riley. Then Castellanos hit a solo shot. Trey Turner hit a solo shot. Then Castellanos put the old insurance run on the board with another solo shot. So that's really what it came down to. And you always hear in the playoffs, the old cliche is like pitching wins playoff games. And I do believe that's true to the extent of like runs become more of a premium. But really, I think in a playoff game, you need more home runs because the pitching is, you're just seeing their best pitchers. You're not getting a 4 and 5 starter. You're not getting the underbelly of the bullpen. Everybody's going, you'll go on short rest if you have to keep your best pitchers in there. So those runs become more of a premium. So you're less likely to string together several hits to score runs. So and that was evident last night. It took solo shots to score any runs.
Well, and so everything that's been leading up to, the only team that is advanced, that won a division, that had the time off, are the Houston Astros. And it's been the talk of, should they change things up? And how do you do it? I mean, here's the thing. You added the extra wild card because you wanted excitement to make it where the trade deadline at the end, there was more people involved, that it made people want to try to continue to watch the Cincinnati Reds, the Chicago Cubs, the Seattle Mariners. I mean, the last weekend of the season for the AL West, there was 3 teams that were trying to get into.
All of them could have won the division or make the playoffs, right?
Or
so
go
it made
home.
It very exciting. Yeah.
And so you can't complain about that. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And so, yes, do I think that continuing to play, you lose on Sunday night to the Seattle Mariners, you don't win the division, you go right back to playing the Tampa Bay Rays right away? Do I think that was beneficial? It just happened to be.
Well, and here's what I think. And the Rangers were not playing exactly top-notch towards the end of the season. So them turning it around it might defeat my theory a little bit. But I also think the Rangers were Jekyll and Hyde all year and kind of came and went a few times. So that might play into my theory. So, it's not fleshed out. But hear me out. The Astros are the only team that got a bye in advance. When did the Astros win their division?
Same weekend we were.
The very last day of the season.
Right.
They were scratching and clawing all the way to the end. The Rangers were all the way to the end. the Diamondbacks barely made the playoffs by the Reds losing, even though they also lost to the
Their magic number hit.
to the Astros. Yeah. And so all those teams that advanced were fighting till the very last day of the season, or except for the case of the Diamondbacks, the second to last day of the season because they gave up on the last day. Whereas the Braves had it locked up basically since the All-Star break. The Dodgers, same way. The Tampa Bay Rays and the Orioles had a little bit of infighting amongst themselves, but both of them knew they were making the playoffs for a long time.
Right.
And so I think it's more of those teams that were, like we talked about with the Giants, that when they won the Super Bowl, where they were in playoff mode for the last several games of the regular season, because if they lost any of them, they weren't even making the playoffs. And so I think that what I've seen this year in baseball shows that those teams that kind of have gotten the quote-unquote luxury of getting out to that big lead and being able to kind of take their foot off the gas, and it's not, and they're playing loose, and and it doesn't really matter as much because they're like with the Braves, like I said, they were already in the playoffs for a long time. There was no way anyone was going to catch them. And then when it mattered, getting that juice going again seemed to be a little bit difficult. Whereas the Astros were not that. They had that same bye, came right back out against the Twins, and they did lose one game to the Twins, but other than the games that they won, they pretty much dominated.
Well, and my thing is, there's a reason they talk in the NFL. There's only one bye, so you really want to have it. And so they talk about that. And yes, baseball, you want to stay in a rhythm and every 5 days pitch and do all those things and still hit. But you can hit and you can stay in rhythm. I mean, there's a reason golfers take breaks and to get healed up and all those things. So they're set. The Rangers did a really good job. Seager did well. Garver's been a great addition to the Rangers. Garcia had the bomb of bombs with the Skittle shoes, I was calling them, or Starburst.
It's good analogy.
Yeah, that's what the shoes look like. They were very bright and very, very colorful. But I want to talk about where we are now. Now you've got an Arizona Diamondbacks team that called in. You've got a Philadelphia Phillies team that was pretty good, but still found a way to get in, coming off of last year's World Series appearance, wanting to try to maybe take it to another level.
Yeah, and their season was basically a repeat of last year. Struggle a little bit in the regular season, get it together at the end. Right.
Well, and you're starting to see the $300 million that we signed Bryce Harper starting to, hey, I'm glad we did this. A lot more than we see with the people in the NFL. But now you start looking now, if you think about star power, and I was talking about as we were coming to break, or going into break about the world, talking about wrestling. If you've got 2 pay-per-views right now, your superstar, yes, you could call Bryce Harper the Undertaker, if you will, of the Philadelphia Phillies. When it comes to star power, a lot of people know Bryce Harper, especially with the stare down, all that's happening. But when you start looking at the ALCS, the Rangers and the Astros, take it outside of the Texas world, but even if that's so, it is a star-studded ALCS. Corey Seager, Simeon, Garcia has become a superstar, if you will. You've got Justin Verlander, Altuve, Bregman. You've got some studs on both sides, and the ALCS should be a lot of fun.
Oh, it definitely should be. And you mentioned Seager, and I think he is right there at the precipice of being the best hitter in baseball. The other person that I would put into that, maybe it's this guy, is Yordan Alvarez for the Astros. So it's one of those deals that those two guys are both hot, both ready to go, and they're probably the best 2 hitters in baseball right now. And Bryce Harper, he's a little dinged up, I guess, and he's coming back from being out, but he
got dinged last night on his elbow.
Yes,
don't know what that's going to look like.
Yes, that surgically repaired elbow, and that's the reason he's playing first base is he can't throw, with the same authority that he needs to play in right field. So. But you're right; those guys are superstars, and the Rangers are just their lineup can just burn. I mean,
and that's top to bottom.
Yes.
I mean, they're a lot of times, no offense to little league people or anything like that. A lot of times, there's a reason you got 8 or 9. But for the Rangers, they're still a pretty good 1 through 9 are going to be very effective. Now, the Houston Astros, and again, I've looked at. Of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Phillies didn't play as much. They played 7 times. Phillies winning that over this past season 4-3. 8-5 is what the Astros Texas Rangers series was. As we start looking to the Rangers and the Astros have made their decision that Verlander, according to ESPN right now, Verlander starting game 1. Because of winning on Tuesday, it kind of allows Bochy to decide, Coach Maddox decide, hey, how do we want to attack this? Do we put the guy that knows how to pitch on the road first? So
right, because everyone should be ready to go.
Yeah, you could start back even with Eovaldi winning on Tuesday if you wanted to. He could start Sunday if you wanted to, but you also
that would be the regular 5 days rest. Montgomery has pitched 2 good games also. Not as good as second outing, but still, he showed up when he needed to. So both teams get to kind of set their pitching staffs. The Rangers are a little bit more advanced in that, having not had to play that next game. But so that shouldn't be an issue. It really is just going to come down to
Scherzer's status.
Well,
he was definitely partying.
Well, he says he's coming back. If you read any of the interviews that he's been quoted in, he did pitch a simulated game on Wednesday, but there has been 0 leaked about
how it went.
And I don't know. There's several I guess theories you could have on that. One thing is the first time back out and doing that, it'd probably be today before you really had a really good idea of how you bounce back and if it felt good, because the second day after a workout is generally when the soreness is the worst. It also could be just a playing it coy, not wanting to leak anything because you don't want anybody to know when you could put him in. He could be used as a bullpen guy in short stints, or he could start game 3. You don't know. So I think kind of keeping that close to the vest could just be a strategy of just not letting the Astros know how they need to try to game plan against the different pitchers that they might face.
Well, again, I'm excited about it. Sunday night, first pitch 7:00, Astros and the Rangers, and then game 2 will be Monday, and then of course they'll head to Globe Life for the rest of those. And so it's going to be exciting. We are looking forward to it. This is what we're excited for. And then when Bruce Bochy started getting things rolling, we thought could happen. Then we got a little nervous. We got a little scared. And then the Rangers found a way to get in. And now, hopefully, they are the New York Giants, hot at the right time. And again, some of the trades that were great, some of the acquisitions were fantastic. For Bruce Bochy being a guy that knows how to win baseball games, knows how to win World Series championships. It's great to have him in the dugout, even though it takes him 45 minutes to an hour to get to the pitcher's mound. It's still worth it because Bruce Bochy is the man. Right now, the man in Clyde, Texas is Blake Carr, the starting quarterback for the Clyde Bulldogs. And head coach Danny Dungeon will be joining us right after this for our Big Country Electric My Town segment as they get ready for a big showdown tonight in Callahan County with Jim Nettie. We'll be back.
Sit right there. The camera's right in your face. Roll it on YouTube.
Did we ever show you our podcast? So, it was me, Trip, Landon, Josh, Luke, Connor, and Owen. It was actually, I think it's the Saturday night after we played the Med. We made it. Really haven't been as much of that as all the games this year. No, but I'm good with that. And we're also tired.
So, do this real quick. Add the next camera. So I figured we'd come back and talk about bouncing back. Hotkey up. One more, and then we'll be back. Do you have any plans? I'm assuming like post high school.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. I'm going to play in college.
Okay.
We don't know where yet.
Okay.
He's got off.
Okay. We're moving to the mall in a couple of weeks, so the studio should be real cool. Welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Live and everything in between. It is time for our Big Country Electric My Town segment, brought to you by Big Country Electric Cooperative. 3 amazing offices, Roby, Snyder, and Stanford, taking care of their members each and every day. And again, excited to have Sarah McClin joining us as our guest picker a little bit later on. We may even throw some games out at these guys to see if they can pick them as well. But joining us in studio, again, we always highlight the local player coach program. And today we're doing all 3. Joining us, Clyde Bulldogs head football coach Danny Dungeon and quarterback Blake Carr. Blake, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate it. Coach Dungeon was on last year. Appreciate you being back with us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having us today.
Last year you were dropping off kids and all the things.
All kinds of fun stuff last year. Yeah, it was real easy to get here today with all that fun stuff.
Yeah, of course, Josh, we all know Josh a couple weeks ago was in the pickup line, drop-off line. It's always a cluster. But it's so good to have you guys. You know, you're one of the it's fun to be one of the hottest teams in the Big Country, one of the hottest teams in the state, really. And I appreciate Coach or Cody Coyle with Big Country Blitz. Does such a great job. You know, we're really fortunate. We like doing it on our platform, but between Cody Coyle and Big Country Preps, we have a really good group of folks out there. And nothing against our TV stations do it well too, but taking care and showcasing the Big Country football.
Absolutely. I think those guys do a great job of coming out and highlighting the good that goes on in the Big Country and just enjoying what our kids do and what our kids accomplish. And I think they do a great job of it being unbiased and just celebrating the kids.
Well, and of course, Big Country Preps, Big Country goes all the way from like here to Strawn.
Oh,
I mean, it is literally a big country. It's so. Blake, this week in 2023 looks a lot better and a lot different than 2022. And we appreciate you being here. Congratulations on the big Built for Tough, is that correct? Award that you got. And so it's fun being, you know, and that's the other thing. You start looking at these things like Big Country Blitz and, of course, Dave Campbell's. And we've talked about how high school football in Texas is as big as it is anywhere else. So what does it feel like being one of those athletes that is covered and highlighted? How do you handle it, and how do you kind of just still stay in the moment but still enjoy it at the same time?
It's pretty special to, there's a lot of big names in Texas. You look at all those big-time recruits going to play big-time football, and those, they'll end up being on Sundays playing football for some professional teams. So to be able to be up there and do it's pretty exciting. But I got to give credit to, the coaches and all my linemen because, without them, I couldn't do anything.
Well, and looking at the Big Country Blitz magazine, a lot of seniors talk about, in college, what happened to you last year. You just get another year, and you could go get your doctorate degree like Jordan Shipley did. I don't think he got his doctorate, but he's there a long time. So how did the patients and rehab and kind of what did you set at that tone of, hey, I'm going to be ready, senior's going to happen. Talk a little bit about that rehab and where you are today and kind of maybe thanks to whether it's applied athletic trainers, surgeons, all those about where you are today.
Definitely at first it's pretty rough. I'd never really been injured like that before, so to miss 4 games was, that was kind of hard on me. But really, I look at it as a blessing because I think it made me realize that I got to get back to work. Got to be better for my senior year and make sure that everyone around me is working hard and making sure they're ready to go.
Well, and coach, talk about it. We patients on getting rehab, patients getting better. A lot of times schools don't understand it takes a little time. You don't obviously just get. There's a reason coaching jobs come open, and you've got to rebuild and do those things. But talk about kind of where you're at. You were on a run last year, and some things obviously didn't work out well.
Yeah.
But talk about that patience and now gaining the trust of these seniors and kind of where you're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, we knew when we came in 2021, we were very, very young as a football team, and we knew there was a growing field. The senior group, there's 20 of them, and they're a great group of kids, and 11 of them ended up playing big minutes for us as sophomores. They kind of paid their dues in that process, and so we knew that was going to be a year of teaching, learning, not only down to the kids, but also the coaches. It was a brand new staff, it was a brand new group of men that were trying to run it, and we kind of got through that year one, and obviously year two we were on a roll, and then the injury bug got a hold of us, and we weren't quite deep enough to be able to handle that. But I think it was good for our kids. I think it was a blessing for our staff, and that's because they understand every chance you get to go out on the field is a blessing. And every chance that we get to have another shot at it is a blessing. And I think that's why you're seeing the full change on the culture. Is they now understand kind of what we're after and day in and day out.
Well, we had Coach Lucas, and I know when y'all played them, they had an injury bug hit them as well. But Coach Lucas from Super talked about how once kids buy into your program, it's like anything else. It makes it a lot better to go to work.
Right, that's exactly
and
right.
so when they get bought in and they realize, hey, because even we've seen it, I do football, do the radio for Wiley, and when a kid gets hurt, it's an opportunity for that kid. I mean, the next man up sounds cliche, but you get a chance to take advantage of that.
Exactly.
And so when kids do that last year and get better during that time, it makes this year so much better than what it was. Now, so we're averaging around 50 points a game. But I got to talk about the one game that I didn't know if it was a basketball game. The Merkel game had to be somewhat. I love Coach Cates. He's such a good dude. But like 69-57, that must have been a track meet. And I bet a lot of people were tired. What's it like? I mean, throwing up 69 points and looking back and, oh, no, there's still 57 coming at us.
Well, I played basketball too, and we played Merkel twice last year, and that game was higher scoring than both of our basketball games. It was a lot of fun to be a part of. Merkel's on the right track. They're playing good football right now, so they're able to score that many points on a good team like that.
Right. Well, and that's the whole thing we've talked about. We've got so many great programs, and you look at a coach like Coach Cates and Merkel and you yourself of communities, hey, be patient, give us time, and now you see the success of that. So let's talk about it. 5-0. The other ones didn't really matter, but last week was big. The Vernon win gets you 1-0 in district. Now you've got what a lot of people. There's some big games tonight with Ryder coming to play Wiley, and then Jim Ned coming to play you guys. A lot of people are thinking, "Oh, this is for the district championship." I'm sure as a coach and even as the leader, it's a way just to get to 2-0. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, we talk to them all the time about it. Really, for us, it's about the next day, the next chance. We can't overlook anything, and you can't pursue anything in the same breath. So, our I guess rally cry, you will speak, is, hey, it's another chance to go get better, go be one game better than you were the week before. Obviously, we understand that it is a big game in the big country, and there's no hiding that from our kids. But we also have to understand that tonight's just a night to go get better, and that's what we're after. And ultimately, we tell them all the time, the scoreboard will take care of itself if you do those. And so they do a good job of that. We know the atmosphere is going to be great. We're excited for that, but we also know what our goal at hand is when we walk in that door.
Well, and we talked about it, like being in magazines and being on social media, being all those things are exciting, but it's got to be nice because the truth of it is there are programs all across the state, 1A to 6A, that are struggling, that aren't fortunate enough and blessed to be in programs where success is happening. So how do you kind of embrace that, and how do you? One of the things that wasn't around when I was in school or even coaching, how do you prepare? I mean, you've got the benefit of huddle. I mean, you can watch game film at home while you're watching the Braves and the Phillies. How do you kind of prepare as you get ready for this week for a game on Jim?
We just gotta kind of like what Coach said. We're trying to be 1-0 every day. Just come to work and get better. We had a great week of practice. I think when we do that, we got a chance to get special on Friday nights. So we just gotta stay in the film and make sure that we don't overlook anybody when we're ready to go on Friday nights.
So what is a home game prep? What does Friday look like for you?
So we'll wake up in the morning. We have team breakfast at 7:15 up at the school. We'll hang out up there for a bit. Go to class till about 2:30. We go to pep rally, have some fun, and then it's time to get locked in after that. We'll have our quiet time to lock in for 3 hours and head down to the field, set one up, get ready to go play some ball.
What about you, Coach? Getting ready for a road game's a little different. You got to make sure, hey, where's the tee, where all those things are. What does home game look like for you and your staff?
Yeah, I think for our staff, obviously we all have our jobs that we do on Friday. I'm kind of the oddball head coach. I think I've learned in my career. I probably more relaxed on a Friday than I am on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm one of those that I believe not a whole lot I can do to dictate anything on Friday. Just got to get the kids there. So we let our coaches get everything set. We have a great staff that does really honestly way more than I ask them to. And then ultimately try to get the kids ready. They have the routine down. That's the nice thing about having seniors like we do. I don't have to go chase them down and tell them where they're supposed to be. And then kind of I do hide a little bit on Fridays, but just a little bit to get my mind out of everything else that's going on. And we head down the field about 5:30, and it's really time to roll. And so I guess I am the oddball and all that. I'm not a stressor on Friday. I'm not one that's you don't want to come talk to me on Friday like some guys are. I've known I kind of try to enjoy the moment with these kids. I enjoy it because I know you don't get many of these with kids in high school. That's the one thing that's downfall of the sport and the way it's structured is our time is limited, so I try to enjoy every chance I get.
So Blake, real quick, would like to go play after this year, and so that's got to be exciting. Being one of those, I was not recruited very highly as not even an intramural guy. I could shoot, but I wasn't getting by anybody. So what is that experience like? Just kind of being wanted.
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a blessing. After the injury last year, it was a little slow. Getting a little attention from schools, but we had a successful summer with 7-on-7, and then just staying in the weight room, staying focused, and helping get some opportunities that I never thought I would. And so, be able to do that, sure, a lot of fun. So.
Well, enjoy it. Hopefully, again tonight, I'll be. The app is really good to have when you're at another stadium. And so, Coach, I told you I was going to ask you. We're part of the Dallas Cowboy Radio Network, and last Sunday night was a rough outing. Dak looks like he's stressed a little bit, like every throw is a 5-foot putt to win the Masters. How would you handle that?
And football's funny because it's the same everywhere, but to me the big thing is if I had that situation with our kids, get back to the basics, get to the foundation of what you do. Getting comfortable with what it is. We tell our kids all the time, we have 6 fast plays that are our foundational movements. And if things aren't going right, they know I'm going to call them things. And so it's no different in the NFL. They're just bigger, faster, and stronger, but they all are. It's not like he's lost his ability to be in that caliber. It's just, I think he's having to do a whole lot right now. So if it was me, get back to the basics, do what you do what you do well, and get his mind back settled in. I think you'll see success happen once they get back.
Well, I hope so. We're going to download. Be sure you download, subscribe, rate, and review the podcast, the Hodge Pack podcast. We're going to send this to some folks in Dallas, so Mike McCarthy can hear what Coach Dutcher just said, so they can get back to the basics and find a way to win in LA on Monday night. Blake, appreciate you coming in, Coach. I appreciate y'all taking the time on your Friday. And get your app, or if you don't have any place to go, head to Clyde tonight. It'll be a great ball game as Jim Ned comes to town. Clyde, Jim Ned, there in Clyde tonight. When we come back, we'll have Misty. We'll open up her bag, see what she has up her sleeves and in the bag, and then we'll get ready to talk about last week's unfortunate Dallas Cowboys. And we're bringing the disaster of the week back. All you got to do is take a knee, and you probably win a ball game. We'll be back right after this.
Yeah. Take a knee. Take a game. Win it. What is he doing?
That is pretty bad.
I was watching it on. Oh my God. Hey, thanks.
I appreciate it. Hey, we'll go here. We'll let Missy take the photo.
Okay.
So,
Oh, wow.
It's just like because it's they're easier to deal with.
well, it's because they like Rick. I really wish I knew what Josh is. Knowing how the battle is. Because I kind of want to talk about like but yeah.
We can talk about it. You can probably tie that in with my bag. Yeah.
I think we need to look at getting t-shirts for either stress ball with a bag.
That's stressful.
Because I mean, we have them all. We can create a lot of stuff.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. It just is my bill weird? I feel like it's like crooked or something.
No, it's your face.
I know
like
I'm
it's
wearing
pulled
makeup,
down.
but dang.
You got makeup on
Your
your face.
face is
No,
crooked.
this is all natural, boo boo. I'm going to Kyle Barron's after this. See, nothing, no
It's a
mascara,
long party,
no
2 whole days.
nothing.
That's a
Today
long
is
party.
going to be more setup.
S'more.
More setup.
Like with crackers and chocolate.
S'mores.
Crackers.
Well, welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we're rocking and rolling in this first hour right here on 106.9 The Country Giant. We're glad that you're with us. Again, don't forget, download, subscribe, rate, review on the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Also, heck up, HodgePackSports.com. You still have time to go to HodgePackSports.com. You can actually fill out the picks
Form?
the
Yeah.
form for pick 'em today. I had a rough week last week. Like, whoa.
Rough is
I
kind
was
of
so happy
understatement.
about it.
Like, rough is
It's,
not
it's
even
like
there.
you fell off and got dragged by the pickup for a while.
Yeah, and caught 2 branches of the 2 games I got right, and that was it. So, but again, you hear the fun laugh, not of Josh. Josh does have a fun laugh, but Missy is not with us.
The fun laugh.
Yeah, the fun laugh. But,
The fun one of the group.
well, it's different. It's a little higher pitch sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just an annoying squeal.
Just
sorry.
No, trust me.
Sorry,
Narrowed it down.
Trust me.
Cornbread squeal is
No.
in the house.
Trust me. I know what an annoying laugh is, and it's not in here. But anyway, but it is. Off air.
It must be a family member.
No, not family member. But it is time for Misty's Bag, brought to you by Mulligan's.
Seriously, never gets old. That sound.
No.
I love it
This
so much.
does not get old. It will never get old. It's hot. Go for it.
Okay.
Josh is total.
Speaking of mulligans, I was out there on last Friday. The weather, this is my favorite time to be at Mulligan's. It's perfect to go
Golf
hit
balls
some balls.
True.
How many golf balls did you hit?
I hit a few.
Good.
I
Good.
did hit a few. You would be proud. But it was so nice being out there. Kyle and we were with the Kings. It was great. Just get to Mulligan's and go hang out. This is the best time to do it. Okay, this is from a listener. Okay.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, this one is funny to me and kind of quirky, but we're going for it. So
Are you-
Brock W. Brock W.
Brock.
So to kind of preface this in the conversation between Brock, basically he's talking about there's some really weird shows that we know of.
Right.
So I'm assuming he stumbled, Brock.
We're assuming.
We're assuming
Okay.
he stumbled upon Naked and Afraid.
Okay.
So
Or is already
he wants
DVR'd.
to know if we are cast on Naked and Afraid. Apparently, you can only bring one item. So, what would we take if we were cast on Naked and Afraid? And then I started thinking about this. Like, his name's Brock. Is this a reference to the Cowboys game? Like, Naked and Afraid with Brock Purdy?
Yeah,
I don't
they were-
know, but I'm gonna ask it.
Definitely lost
We
their
left
pants.
very afraid.
We were very afraid. So, but here we are. So if we're cast on Naked and Afraid, what one item would
Obviously,
we
clothes
take?
is not one of them you can take. It would be
It wouldn't be naked if there's clothes.
probably for this body. I'll probably need to pack extra sensors. You know how they cover up everything else. Sorry, I went ahead and cover. I went ahead and brought a couple
I'm just
extras.
blurry.
I'm blurry from neck down. Trust me, viewers, you're gonna want this.
Oh my gosh!
So, what would I take if I was naked?
Like one thing,
Um,
and you're only with one. You
Is
guys
that
would be
is that
with-
literally the? I've never seen the show.
Yeah, it's like a guy. It'd be like you
I mean, I
and
know
Naked
the
and
con-
Afraid
I know-
together.
I know the concept.
It's very weird. I've watched
And
one
it's a
episode.
strange show.
I watched one episode, and I, without a doubt, know exactly what I would take.
See, I
No.
do too. I think.
And it would be a large can of Beat Woods Off. Because
Interesting.
like the what I saw, these people were like just getting mauled by bugs, and there's you don't have a tent, obviously, you don't have any clothes on, so it's not like you just like maybe have a long sleeve shirt and that helps a little bit. So I would take a large can of Off because the idea of just like trying to go to sleep laying down on the ground with bugs attacking you just really like would drive me nuts. And then I think you could also use the Off to like aid in building the fire because Off is very flammable. So there's other uses also.
Okay, that's actually a really good answer. I had not thought of that.
That's pretty good. Misty, what would you take?
Well, I don't want to be like hanging out everywhere. So I want to be naked because I'm on the show, but then I'm like, maybe I don't want to be.
Just take a towel.
I
don't
I'm
think
gonna
it's-
take some big
I don't
leaps.
think it's optional. It's not naked option and afraid. I don't think that's an
But
option.
I can bring like a piece of cloth to like it's
Maybe a
toga
tarp.
party.
You
It's
can
a
just
toga
wrap up
party.
in a tarp.
I don't think you understand what naked means.
No, but if I can bring something, why
Is that
can't-
allowed? I mean, I don't know the rules.
I don't know,
Right.
but I have seen some fig leaves, like
Well, I mean, you could make your own loincloth, I guess.
I definitely would be covering up. I just don't think I can just like run and things It's weird. I'm sorry. Running naked is not
You
cute.
do know there's other females that have been on the show.
Oh, I know. I've seen
I mean, I'm
them.
assuming. I've not seen it.
No,
but
there
I've
is.
seen advertisements for the show, but I've never seen Naked and Afraid.
You should watch an episode. It's a trip. It's
I don't
weird.
think it's something that you should just tune into to be like, what?
It's
And,
just like so weird that you can't stop watching it.
Well-
What about a knife?
well, I mean, that would, some sort
I've
of like
got to
large,
be able to kill something.
large knife that you could, whittle some kindling to make a fire, like all that type of stuff. That would be.
How am I going to eat?
Uh,
I've got to have a weapon.
Well, I think you're going to survive off the land, and hopefully they drop you off somewhere where there was really good fruit trees or something. I mean, you're going to have something to kill food. I mean,
Well, that's
what
I'm
about a
thinking.
rock?
Yeah.
you could.
I mean,
You have
I
to be a
don't-
really good throw. I mean, honestly, I'm not trying to. Depending on where you're going, I think sunscreen's going to be crucial. So, like, if we were on the same show,
Maybe you get the off sunscreen combined.
yeah, if
the
we were on the
bullfrog.
same show. Hey, Josh, you bring the sunscreen.
We'll
You
share.
bring the off, I bring the. Come on, it's like on that Seinfeld episode. Come on, Jerry, rub my back. No, not having it. I'll rub yours. You're not sweetening the deal.
I would just hope my partner, I want to go with Josh because I think he would take care of us. Sorry, Hodge. My money's on
Oh,
Josh.
we'd be. Oh,
And I think Josh would also pick me to be on his team over you.
I would
hey,
say
here's
so.
the thing that I'm winning. Hey, here's the deal. I'm winning because y'all are naked and afraid, and I'm watching.
I'm not afraid if Josh is there.
He's
got us.
eating a Hodge Pack and like having a cold beer.
I'm no
Yeah,
longer afraid
You're
with
spraying
Josh.
off on Josh.
Oh, God.
You're asking
Get
her.
my bag.
You're asking her. Hey, which cloth am I supposed to pick
Yeah,
up?
is
And
this
I'm
leaf
at
big enough?
Lila watching eating a Lila.
Is
You need
this leaf
that
covering?
you need a large
My
leaf or
area?
a small leaf. I don't know.
What kind of mood are you in today? What kind of mood are you in today?
I mean, just at least the front. Oh my gosh. I cannot imagine being on that show.
It was hot in here already.
I'm literally crying.
Well, my thing is, it just goes to prove, no matter how dumb of an idea you think your show might be, hit you.
Oh yeah, you might
Kitchen.
get somebody.
Or
to
just
put
throw
Because-
them out there naked. It
Right.
changes everything.
It has everything. I mean, you think about it. You've got all these MTV shows. 16 and pregnant.
Teen
All,
Mom,
Teen Mom, all these
Real
things.
The
So
Life
what,
After Lockup is one that I've not seen, but
Yeah,
I've seen
so-
it in advertisements, and I think that.
Scared Straight or something
yeah,
like that.
so whatever TV show, for example, a show about nothing, made it big. If you think there's a show, I'll tell. I'm just gonna get off. I'll tell you mine.
What is going on?
He was
You
like,
can't- you can't-
like he was gonna whisper.
I know.
to
I was gonna say, I'll tell you
on the
mine
air, and I'm
on
just stepping
commercial
away.
break.
No, you have to answer.
No.
No.
No,
No.
Oh, I was like,
No, I'll answer your question. I'll answer your question.
I've heard his show idea. No one needs to hear it.
Yes.
No,
I
no,
gotta know.
you will be dumber if you do hear it.
No,
But
but you'll think it'll work.
Speaking
Anyway,
of dumb, what are you bringing to Naked Afraid?
yeah, he just refuses to answer.
no, I would probably.
Just
I mean,
change the subject.
I
Refuse to
know.
answer.
sunscreen.
Dodge.
Honestly,
avoid.
sunscreen or a hat,
Yeah.
because a good hat would be beneficial because it could be used similar to what the cloth
The
would do.
loincloth is now.
If you
the
needed a
snapback
hat,
trucker.
like a big, you would. Hey, could you bring a pillow? Would a pillow be beneficial?
You're gonna need it not netted in the back, okay? The
No.
trucker's gonna need
No,
to be not
it's-
netted in the back.
Well, if I
We're
bring
not
if I
trying to see
bring
that.
if I bring that hat, I've got to have the sunscreen because then you're going to
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
pergola tan
yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Nobody wants a pergola tan
Still
line.
gonna have
I
some.
still think I'm bringing some piece of cloth to cover up my
Well, but the cloth
areas.
could be used again. I think jot it down. I don't think you know what naked means.
I'm gonna be partially naked and afraid.
No, I don't think you know what naked means. It's going to be the episode of this podcast.
Uh,
I'm going to bring clothes. Is basically what she just said.
No,
The show
a
is called.
cloth.
you ruined the whole premise.
Fine. Okay,
Like
fine, I'm
Hodge
gonna bring a
ruins the whole
knife.
premise of your question every week.
He does. I don't even
How
know
did
how
I
to do
ruin
this
it?
segment anymore.
How did I ruin
You
it?
just dodge and avoid, dodge and
No,
avoid.
I would bring a hat.
I know. I didn't even ask about his wife this
I
week.
know.
I would wear a hat. I would bring a good, comfortable hat to cover my
Dodge,
ears.
dodge.
Okay.
That's what I would bring
Okay.
a hat.
A hat, off/sunscreen, and I guess I'm gonna bring a weapon because y'all aren't. So I guess I'm gonna bring a weapon. I'll bring a knife.
I just need
And make
like,
my own.
I think if
leaves
you're trying to
cover me.
choose, maybe a knife would be up on the list also.
Maybe we'll
On
Google.
practicality.
We won't Google on our computer
A
here.
fire starter. We gotta have a fire. We're gonna freeze to death.
A pack of matches. When we come back, we will kick off our 8 o'clock hour. Our Coleman County State Bank moving into the 8 o'clock hour right after this. Oh, that's good. That's pretty good.
I really would not want to be naked and flopping around everywhere. Can y'all imagine?
I think that's probably
You're like running. That's
the
terrible.
biggest impairment of being on the show.
And some of those girls are not cute.
Yeah.
Okay, what are we having a meeting? Where did you go? Oh my gosh, that is cool.
Yeah. You got to daily exhaust out or it really defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
I learned that.
Hopefully not much longer. Oh my gosh, I was literally crying.
It's cool outside and it's hot.
Yes, I was crying on that. That was funny. Well, I know myself, and I'm gonna be because we're going to the arena to set up.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm gonna be chilly running around out there. But I've got a t-shirt on underneath. I can take this off.
All right. So, does anybody Google? We got to Google what naked and afraid.
What?
We need to Google actually what can you bring on naked and afraid.
Okay, I'm asking, or I'm googling.
Yeah, what are the
Great. Now I'm gonna
parameters?
start. Now I'm gonna get casted because my phone's
Obviously.
obviously my phone's gonna see
So what's
me.
your price? How much do they have to pay you?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Okay. What can contestants?
I got a pair of pants. Ain't nobody want to see that. I think you missed the. I put this question on Facebook.
Naked and afraid?
I said, "What would you bring?" We're getting answers.
Okay. Yeah, see, this is why. Brock knows what he's talking about.
Is Brock listening?
I don't know. Hopefully, each survivalist is allowed to bring one helpful item, such as a machete or a fire starter.
So that's it. That's the
One,
rules.
yes, it says one helpful item. And for some
What
people,
are
it is covering up
things
their areas.
People
So they do that?
right.
You're one thing a piece of a pair of
I
boxer
think,
shorts?
I think literally you can bring whatever you want.
I'm just going to go with gym shorts.
Yeah, they bring a few options of their own, and the producers need to approve them. Then they pick one. So yeah,
Everyone almost always choose. Is that what you just read? What Google said?
No,
Almost chooses what?
Either a knife, machete, a fire starter, or a cooking pot to sterilize water.
oh, that's a good
No, I'll
one
never
too.
forget the guy who brought swimming goggles because he thought he'd help him catch fish.
Oh my gosh.
If you're that stupid, you're probably going to just die. Depends on how long you're going to be out there.
Dumbest item brought 2017. I'm watching this episode and the guy brought a hammock.
He's at least comfortable.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. Good one.
All right, so college football or it is hot in here.
It's very hot. That's what I'm saying. It's cool outside, and somehow it's as hot as it's been in a long time in here.
I feel okay right now.
I'm glad you
I'm always
It's
cold.
all about
I'm
you
quite
this week.
comfortable.
It's all about you. I'm
Thank
glad.
you.
are
I'm glad
that
you
fan.
finally admitted that.
Should we turn that fan on? College football weekend.
Sure. That is what's showing to be next.
Stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Read some of the stuff that you have. When we'll come back. We'll talk briefly about Naked and Afraid in the Sasquatch. Unless,
yeah, bring
unless
up
you're
this-
knowing how the battle has something to do with that.
Okay.
Everyone knows there's that much.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack as we're rolling in and moving into the 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Coleman County State Bank. Be sure you check them out. Head over to ColemanBank.com and they'll be glad to help you out. But we're moving into that 8 o'clock hour, and moving into the 8 o'clock hour means we're moving closer and closer to the final season of the college football playoff where there's only 4 teams making it. And last weekend was a great slate of sports. We talked about with the baseball going on and the baseball and football and college football and all that. And last weekend, of course, we got to talk about the Red Rebel rivalry shootout, whichever one, the state fair game, whatever we're going to call it now. But Oklahoma, is it upsetting or
No,
just
I called
winning?
it.
Huh?
It just I was right.
You're right. How did you do on picks last week?
I did well.
Good. That's
I
good.
haven't. Well, okay. Actually, we did have some contributors beat me, and it was my boys, Luke and Barrett, who actually picked the same every time that they picked. So I guess I'll just roll that into one. Barrett will copy Luke's if at all possible. But they beat me. They had 9 correct, and I had 8. I will go and say this. Other than that, and I'm not getting the whole haughty spirit, pride before a fall thing. I'm just stating a statement of fact. The Bear has not been beaten now for 4 straight weeks by anyone except someone who also was named Greer. So,
Okay, challenge accepted.
So Hodge has not had to give out very many koozies lately. Week 1, it looked pretty bad, but that was the time to get me. If you didn't get me while I was down,
I mean, really, you've been kind of on a run. Even our college picking that we do with our buddies, you've had a pretty good run. Yeah.
It's because
Except
the
this last week,
Rangers-
Hodge won. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because the
you did beat me
Rangers.
by 1 game.
He's so happy.
I was more sad that you beat me than I was that I didn't get the money. Because we don't pay. I mean, I take it back. We don't actually gamble.
Right.
It's fake
Right. It's,
Yeah,
money.
Monopoly money.
Monopoly.
Yes.
it's
What is gambling?
Coupons to the local
Sizzler.
Sonic.
Yes.
Sizzler.
Ocean
What?
waters for all.
Yes, I could take an ocean water.
I feel like
I
a good
prefer the
ocean water.
cherry limeade, but they're
me too. So college football happened last week. What was your thought and takeaways of the Oklahoma-Texas game? Because in my opinion, if you didn't care, you got what you wanted and you should have gotten. We got what we should have got Sunday night in San Francisco, but we'll talk about that later. Oklahoma now it's still alive. My prayer is still open. One team tomorrow will lose to eliminate my undefeated.
Washington or Oregon.
Yep.
Down.
But the Oklahoma-Texas game was great, and unfortunately, I don't think there's anybody else in the conference. Somebody could upset one of the two because you could have that day.
Well, there's always the possibility for an upset. I mean, even Georgia, as good as they are, stuff doesn't go right. The ball bounces the wrong way, especially if you let yourself get into a close game with somebody that you might not should let yourself get into a close game with. But that notwithstanding, Oklahoma having beat Texas, they're in the driver's seat. They'll be picked to win every game that they play from here, at least until the conference championship, which they might face Texas again. Yeah. So I do think that is kind of the takeaway from that Oklahoma is undefeated and they are in the driver's seat to stay that way. Georgia is definitely in the same boat. And then to your point, we've got the Big Ten that has several people that are still riding that out. UNC, maybe they can run the table in the ACC.
I think it's going to be either them or Florida State. May is a legit quarterback. He'll be playing on Sundays. Of course, last week, and I want to bring back, we're going to go ahead and bring back that Ohio key because we've got to talk about this guy. The car was upside down when he got here, Josh. And I'm going to tell you, last week, we're going to bring back the disaster of the week. Coach Cristobal from Miami. All you have to do is get in the favorite formation of every coach in the country, and that is victory formation. Instead, they do this. Miami fumbles with 26 seconds left. Georgia Tech has no timeouts. All you got to do is kneel it and the ball game's over. They run it, fumble, and a couple plays later, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are victorious, and no longer do you have undefeated Miami playing undefeated North Carolina You've got one loss Miami playing undefeated North Carolina. You got, as coaches, being cute sometimes will bite you in the booty. You cannot
I don't
be
even understand
that
calling
dumb.
that cute. I don't.
It's dumb.
That's just
Yeah,
dumb.
stupidity.
I mean,
And then he tried to justify it in his post-game press conference. Well, we collaborated and calculated and figured. I'm like, I
what
don't
are you
do.
figuring?
Yeah,
What
there's
game's
nothing
over?
to calculate at that point. Kneel it and move on.
What
You're
does
still
double zero
undefeated.
mean? Oh, it means the game's over. The clock does not stop. It would be. It wouldn't even be different if they had 3 timeouts. Well, maybe, but with 2 timeouts or anything like that, with 30 seconds left, you kneel, punt. In that situation, you kneel and you go to the 50-yard line and say, good game. Just stupidity. So, our disaster of the week goes to the University of Miami. Congratulations. You're now no longer undefeated.
Great pass by Georgia Tech, though. I
Oh,
mean, that
it's a
was
great play.
beautiful.
And then not
Great
only
play.
do that, and then people are trying to justify, well, they had a chance to stop them on defense. You should have never been out there.
Yeah, but that was a great ball. I mean, yeah, there's no stopping that.
So anyway, so now I want to ask this question. Because the Deion Sanders, they're still doing their thing, which one are you ready to go away? Taylor Swift and Kelsey or Deion?
For me, it's Taylor Swift. Last night watching the game, it was like anytime Kelsey, and he had a great game. Anytime he, what my favorite, and this just made me laugh. And I like Taylor. Let me just say this: I like her. We listen to her. My daughter loves her. She's at that age.
You're a Swiftie.
Yeah, I am gonna go watch the movie this weekend of her concert with my girls. So I mean, it is what it is. But it was like really funny to me because I can't remember how many yards he got on his first run, but they show her and she's like, oh my gosh, he caught the ball. Almost like she didn't even know anything about football. But then they just kept showing her every time he,
Did anything.
right. It was just, I'm like, you guys. And did y'all see going to a commercial break, like outside of the stadium, there was like a cardboard cutout of her and Kelsey and Mahomes, and it was like
to take a photo with?
well, I don't know if it was necessarily that, but the commentators were just talking about, oh, look what's out here. And it was just like little figures of them, almost like something you would see at Christmas time, like a yard ornament. And there she is with his jersey on. I'm like, this is so brand new. This is going to crash and burn. And then obviously there's going to be a song written about the Chiefs coming soon when they break up by Taylor.
Yeah, it's so weird. I mean, how well are you following it, Josh?
I'm not, but I'm forced to see it.
We
You
all
are forced to see it.
We all are.
And last night you were really forced because it was the only football game on. If you were going to watch it, like
Well, I
if it's on-
watch baseball.
if you're on a Saturday or Sunday, you got other options that you can watch, and you don't have to. There's other games on, and so anyway,
What about y'all? I mean, what do y'all? Deion or Taylor?
Oh, it's definitely
Taylor.
Taylor.
Taylor, yeah.
It's not even in the same hemisphere.
because I think honestly
Of
that
annoyance.
the
Yeah.
Deion is starting to wane a little bit and kind of just be about football, not as much about Deion. It helps that a lot of those good teams that he had to play early, unfortunately lost, but have moved on from. They beat Arizona State last week. And so who do you think are the top 4 teams? If it ended right now for you, who would be the top 4 teams?
Oh, that is a rough
I mean, to me
one.
right now, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Florida State are your top. I do think one of those, Michigan and Ohio State, are going to go away. I think that's going to open up for Oklahoma. Now,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. Depending on how that game ends and how that game functions, Michigan, Ohio State may become the new SEC. But the one that you've got to worry about creeping back up is Alabama. USC played last week and almost lost to Arizona. I'll tell you who I'm picking in that game a little bit later against them in Notre Dame. But right now, I think it's Georgia. I think it's Michigan. Florida State, we'll find out a little bit about them. But I think Washington's going to be really good. I think Michael Penix Jr. playing really well is going to get into the Heisman talk. I think Washington's got a chance to win this thing. But Georgia is really, really good.
No, I mean, I agree. I do think Georgia is number one. I don't have any doubt about that. But as far as like maybe the Big Ten's to the point where Michigan and Ohio State can both make it, I'm not sure. So I think one of them will knock each other out. They'll at least the week after that game, one of them will not be in the top 5 anymore. Which will allow someone else to move up there into the the playoff spot for at least a period of time. I would put Oklahoma there, just because I do think that beating Texas it was a big deal. Whether or not Texas is truly back or not, as I saw a lot of funny things posted on X about that, which always is good for a snicker. So yeah, I mean, in Florida State, I would say if Florida State runs the table, then yes, they're a playoff team. Same for Oklahoma, and then they really have to try hard. If Hodge's little dream comes true, they would have to try really, really hard, do some really ridiculous stuff to justify putting an Alabama or a loser of Michigan, Ohio State back into the top 4.
We still have a chance to have undefeated. Dylan Gabriel, the quarterback from Oklahoma, played really well.
Mm-hmm.
If they keep rolling, they play pretty good defense, they're going to be fine. Who do you have as your top 4?
I'm going to say Georgia, Florida State, Oklahoma, and Washington.
Yeah,
is who my 4 would be.
Did you have
Alabama's not getting in.
But did you have Michigan in?
No.
Or Georgia, Florida State, Oklahoma, and Washington?
Yeah, I'm going out on some limbs.
Well, but here's the
Per
deal.
usual.
Because somebody's going to have to be told, no, we still have a chance. Join us in prayer for that to take place. Let that happen.
He's great
We
now.
want that to happen for sure. When we come back, we're bringing it back, knowing it's half the battle. What does Josh have for us? And will we be smarter, and will you be better for the weekend? We'll be back.
I am excited to get educated this
USC, they won and they dropped.
Because they had to take Arizona State to 3 overtime.
Well, I know. I mean, it does show some weakness. But 3 Pac-12
People think
teams.
they're going to lose this week to Notre Dame.
Well, yeah, I think they will. 3 Pac-12 teams are currently undefeated. Solid chance only one is, well, there'll be at most 2 after this weekend, probably just 1.
Say that again.
Pac-12 teams undefeated. There's 3 right now.
Right. The most there can be is 2.
Right. Notre Dame wins. There's just 1, which, spoiler alert, I'm picking Notre Dame to win that.
Saints.
But
Love that because it's on the road.
Yeah.
and then there's still 3 Big Ten teams undefeated.
Which Michigan's got to play both of them.
Yeah.
Not too interesting.
2 ACC teams and now just 1 Big 12 team.
And North Carolina would not play
Florida State.
until the championship.
There's a solid chance they go to the championship game. UNC, if they beat Miami, which I don't think is a given,
Miami's going to have 2 choices. Either you bounce back from stupidity
Yeah, Miami's. Yeah,
or fall in a
so
hole and
stupid.
get stuck.
Yeah.
bug repellent shoes. I don't
Shoes
know those
would be a big
exist.
Oh, shoes.
Walking around barefoot is really
Dang
like
it,
not
I
my,
didn't
not
even
my
think
jam.
about shoes.
Not my jam.
Oh, that would be,
see,
especially on that terrain. Ooh,
but
shoes is a
If
good
you
one. Who
outline
said
the
shoes?
things that I hate the most, it's walking barefoot and having bugs on it. Those are like the 2 biggest pet peeves.
And we know that because Leanne always raps about you not taking your shoes off.
Right. Right.
We've had that discussion. I like to be barefoot, but not on terrain and like that.
See, Florida State, Duke will be tough. Miami, and then they got to play at Florida, which is a rivalry game. They don't play North Carolina. They've already finished Clemson. North Carolina does have to play Clemson. Now you're. All right, so I'm gonna see if I can go to Facebook.
So shoes, yeah. How did we not think of shoes?
Because I still think of that being naked.
Because I'm still thinking about
Yeah, it
covering
is
my.
it is a clothing
junk.
item. So
I don't care if y'all see my feet. I can make some money on OnlyFans with my feet.
people are into that.
People are into that.
I'm definitely not.
Yeah.
But
Let's make an account and we'll put all 3 feet and we'll just see who, and we'll donate the money. We'll donate the money to a local charity.
You like pour oil on
Hodge Pack OnlyFans account, and we'll put a foot on there, and whoever gets the most money, yeah. I'm serious. We could make some money for a local nonprofit.
Where'd all this money come from, our OnlyFans?
Yeah, I mean, hey, no shade in how we raised our money. It was just our foot,
Usually people get fired for that type of thing.
but it's only our foot. It's not our, you know,
It's only our foot.
it's
I've
not.
read several stories of like teachers that get busted on there and lose their jobs.
Well, I wasn't planning on going like varsity blue style and my students seeing me on stage or anything.
You're welcome, Facebook and YouTube.
The cinnamon is retired.
Retired.
So welcome back to the Hodge Pack Sports Life and everything in between. You are so fortunate that you're getting to be a part of this day as we are in our 8 o'clock hour, and it's time to bring back a fun little segment we like to call Knowing is Half the Battle.
All right. A lot of times, this segment, I bring up some sort of personal pet peeve. Obviously, that people need to know that there's certain things that are just annoying. And this week, I'm kind of I'm not at a loss completely, but I don't know how exactly to express it the best way because it's kind of a two-sided thing. One is everyone needs to remember and really think about the fact that it's still baseball season. We're way too football oriented, not just here at the Hodge Pack, but every sports outlet. We're talking about last night. Aside the annoyance of Taylor Swift being, I guess, the key feature of the broadcast, which I'm glad I avoided. We're talking about a bootleg.
Had nothing to do with Mahomes.
Yeah,
No.
a bootleg Broncos team against a Chiefs team that really didn't show up against a bad team. And we're talking about that. And the media, plays all this stuff. And yet we have a Braves 101-win Braves team, 104-win Braves team get eliminated in the playoffs. Like, it's still, I mean, I am 95% baseball oriented in what my TV watching is right now. And so that's just a kind of a little thing that I just want people to remember. It's still baseball season. The Rangers play at 7 o'clock on Sunday. As Hodge mentioned earlier, there's no Cowboys game, so you don't have to worry about that. It's after the Eagles game, on the same channel, so you can hate watch the Eagles and then shift that right into what I find the ultimate culmination of sports joy is when you can watch the team that you hate watch and your favorite team play each other.
At the same time.
And so we've got, that happens obviously with the Cowboys a couple times a year, with the Rangers and the Astros playing each other in the ALCS, which is, they're currently in the same league. That is the pinnacle of a matchup that you can have as a Rangers fan. It's the Rangers versus the Astros being that 7 times in a row to the ALCS, which that moves them into, as Hodge and I were talking about, that puts them like squarely in that Tom Brady, Alabama. There's probably as many people outside of
Arlington
of their bandwagon. Because the Astros fans, I don't even want to get started on how bandwagon they are. That would be a whole nother segment. But outside of the Astros bandwagon fans, I would say the majority of the country is tired of them and just want them to go away. Plus, all the cheating scandal that goes with it that they bounce back from, and I'm surely, there's probably a lot of conspiracy theorists out there that are still thinking they're cheating. I don't think so, but maybe. We can throw it out there.
They've won 7 in a row.
Yeah, old news. Time to move on.
But so it is still baseball season, and then Monday night we truly are going to have that collision of the Cowboys and the Rangers will be playing at the exact same time, and so that will create a conundrum for many people, not for me. Not at all. And we'll not get too much into the Cowboys until the next segment. Obviously, that is our segment, so we'll just gloss over that. But
So
it's not a
what,
conundrum.
what do you want us to know, Josh?
It's baseball season. It's playoff baseball season, and the Rangers are in the ALCS. I don't give about baseball or about football. I don't.
All right. Leanne.
There's no
Leanne,
dump button, so I can't even say what I was going to say.
Leanne,
Dang.
Leanne, send over the blood pressure medicine.
Yes.
The blood pressure gets real high in playoff baseball.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I do agree with, and I'm excited about it. I mean, I've said over and over, I love Emily Jones. It was great to see the post that she posted post game because I could watch the Rangers play because they're not on Valley. But in all that, I do understand. For here, I agree with Josh. From a lot of the other perspectives, football still runs the show, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Whether it's high school, college football. But Monday night is going to be one of those, for me, of knowing it's half the battle, that you better have two tickets. For me.
Yes.
For
Oh,
me,
100%.
I'm going to need to be somewhere, and I'll be available to do that because I'll have that option as I get ready to go to a conference and stuff, to have two TVs. Because to me, it's one of those, and I understand Josh's passion. I mean, y'all can't see it, but he's got Texas Rangers hat, shirt. You can't see the pants, they're Texas Rangers too. But I understand that. And so, because we have not, and I'm going to take this to another level, the Cowboys have not provided what our Rangers are providing for us. And not only are the Cowboys haven't provided it for us, the Rangers have taken us higher, if you will,
yes.
even in 2010, 2011,
Yeah.
to the ultimate. Has it hurt? Was it heartbreak? But we have got to experience that. As adults, we've not experienced that on the Cowboys side.
Right.
We've experienced, I'm going to make sure we got time. That's why we have a producer. That we've not got to experience that Super Bowl. We've not got to experience even an NFC championship, but we've got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, which is what we have here starting Sunday night. So I do agree with you in the fact that
Yes. When is the last time the Cowboys have played in the NFC Championship, the equivalent?
95.
Yeah. Right.
When we went to the Super Bowl and won it last.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I do understand the excitement of Josh, and I do understand and a lot of the stuff that we get from listeners. We appreciate our listeners. We cannot read them on air. Maybe when we
There's
start.
no FCC on the text messages.
Well, it is if you read it. It is if you read it.
I
I do agree
I'm
with
excited
Zane.
for Josh
But so, all
for
right,
all of this.
where do you land?
On who I'm rooting for, I mean, I give y'all crap about the Astros or whatever, but honestly, I am pulling for the Rangers, to be truthful. I mean, have some ties to the Houston area, family and all of that stuff, but my heart is, I want the Rangers to take this series.
And this sounds crazy. And let me ask you this, Josh. You grew up in Wiley, small town, when you were there, smallerish. You grew up in Robert Lee, obviously smaller town. I grew up in Norfolk, smaller town. I'm kind of hoping, let me ask you this. Is there a chance we've seen schools, Canadian, do really good in football, transfers to basketball, the excitement, they go on a run. Benjamin, all those places. I'm wondering, could the Rangers' excitement in playing well, is there any way a B12 shot could transfer and maybe overflow to AT&T Stadium and maybe help the Cowboys turn a corner?
I do think that cities are uplifted by performance
So
of their
you don't
team.
think I'm crazy thinking
I don't think you're crazy at all. I mean, obviously, it's not the same. It's not the same people, but it's generally the same fan base.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
like-
sure.
Well, and that's my parents. They were there Monday. They were there Tuesday.
Mhm.
They were on TV like
I
4
know,
or 5
that
times.
was so cute.
They were like on TV 4 or 5 times. And Dad said it was just absolutely. And I was there in 2011. I was there in 2011 at the World Series game, going to the same type of conference I'm going now. Was fortunately at the same time on my way down, and it was amazing. So I'm hoping we see that, and I'm hoping there's some people that have moved from the 214, the 817, have moved into Houston, and they bought tickets, and they do what Houston does when they come to Arlington. I hope there's some red and blue in the stands, in the stadium Sunday night.
Oh, there will be. I think.
Well, I mean, I think there will be. And in fact,
Colin Harris, get your tail over there.
I was looking at tickets, just for fun because they're too expensive for me to really justify going at this time. But they were cheaper for the Astros, game one on Sunday than they were. In Houston. They were cheaper at that time when I was looking than they were for game 3 on Wednesday in Arlington.
Which to me, and this is, and we're going to come back and talk
Now,
about
the Astros hadn't clinched at that point, so
it might have went up.
it might have gone up. But even then, you could get your money back, and it was a safe bet they were going to make it. So I don't.
Because here's my arrogance about that: is do you just assume we'll buy tickets for the World Series?
Well,
We'll make them more expensive for the World Series.
Here's my question.
They're very expensive right now to try to buy a World Series ticket. Like the cheapest one I could find was $1,700.
Here's my question. What does it go to Game 7?
As
What is
far
your
as the prediction of it,
What do you think?
I have a hard time with the prediction on this because I'm on a I guess selfish note. I think the longer the series goes, the more it plays towards Houston winning, because I do think they have more pitching depth than the Rangers do, especially in the bullpen side. So I think the longer that goes, the less of a chance the Rangers have of advancing. So I don't see either team just sweeping the other. I just don't think that'll happen. So I'm going to go ahead and make my prediction that it's a 5-game series. I don't want to really make a prediction though, because I don't want it to backfire and burn me. But I really hope the Rangers win, and I think it'll be a shorter series.
So I'm looking at this. So it's 2-3-2.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to me, that's huge. Win one game, win one of those games in Houston, get 3 in Arlington, and maybe have a really good chance at that. So again, Texas Rangers, it is baseball season. I agree with Zane. It's okay to have 2 TVs, but be sure you know where your volume needs to be and get excited about it. And another thing, and what's great about the places we have sponsor us, Lytle, Toasty Live Mulligans, they always have their TVs on what's supposed to be going. So be sure your TVs, if you're going somewhere, don't go anywhere to watch NBC. If they don't have it for football, be sure and know what TVs need to be on. And the other good thing is the Sunday night football game for Sunday is the Bills and the Giants. Terrible, even better.
Yeah,
so you have
nobody
no reason
cares.
not to be watching the Rangers Sunday night at 7 o'clock. When we come back, NFL Week 6 happened. 5. We got Week 6 coming up.
Six.
Scary.
Who knows?
Week 5 felt like it was 6. It was terrible. We'll be back right after
It's
this.
2 weeks. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Nice to meet
So
you.
this is Sarah. She
Hi.
helps us
Hi.
be on the air. She is our
Nice
big
to
country
meet
like the
you.
My Town segment.
Nice to meet you.
So we'll have one more segment and then we'll go to the picks. And then even Misty will just share.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll talk a little bit, 85, co-op world, and then we'll go into the world picks.
Great.
I've old friends.
I love it.
Yay!
Yay. Okay. She's ready.
I came
You're
prepared.
prepared. I like it.
I don't know that I'm ever in the loop, but I came ready.
I've been doing my picks with one of my coworkers,
Uh-huh.
and I went into his office yesterday, and
You need to write these down or do whatever. I haven't picked my Cowboys decision yet.
He was like, "Oh, okay, like it's so cute, it's so excited."
I left
So
my
we
pin
went
outside
in.
yet.
We usually have the same, but sometimes I'm like, "Oh, I don't know," and he's like, "Let me look it up," and so yeah,
Good.
it's
The
fun.
guys that I asked
Yeah.
different opinions on the Colts and Jags and on Biden and Ned.
Yeah.
And on Tennessee and A&M.
Yeah, there's definitely some toss-ups this week, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Well, and what stinks is it looks like they're about to get Jonathan Taylor back, but now they lost Anthony Richardson. So and I think the Jags are starting to figure it out.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, so for Art Hill, we're going to go off that one of your really good PowerPoint, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm glad you think it's really good.
I sent mine to I found out I'm doing one. I didn't know my second one is in general session.
They kind of dropped the ball on Kelly. Well, it was weird.
And it's an outcome of the dude named Kevin. It's the female.
The female start off like this, Kevin?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, really?
KEVYN.
Oh, like the really the female started off like this, Kevin?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Original. She
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, that's just a girl that got a guy's name. Spelled
I churched it up with a Y.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
That's like my daughter
What is
Collins.
it on? Yeah, church it up. What is your general section on?
Nike says the younger generation.
Oh, boy. Oh, you got that. You don't need a presentation.
Somebody said bug repellent shoes. I didn't know those were a thing.
Maybe.
Bug repellent shoes.
Yeah, they make the UPF fabric.
Yeah,
Like the sun
sunscreen
protection,
fabric.
Yeah.
protection shirt, so I guess it could be.
I guess. I just,
never heard of those.
yeah, same.
I'm not time that Sasquatch. Maybe we can find the
I thought you
offense.
were going to do it on Naked and Afraid and say something like, what if you were out there and you saw Sasquatch, but I pitched it to you and you did not hit the home run.
Well, I got all about the
You
Sasquatch.
got excited about your loincloths or whatever, your hat and
Loincloths.
sunscreen.
He was really excited about being naked and
He was.
naked and sunscreen.
I can assure you, a lot of you would have been afraid. Ma'am or sir, I can't reach this button. You get it?
And somewhere Tracy's hanging her head like that.
That's great.
She's used to
It
it.
was just such a weird
That's what to
question.
say.
I loved it.
I'm going to say it's constantly afraid.
Yeah.
Just afraid.
Just afraid.
We had a womp womp. I guess, well, we don't. We don't have a womp womp sound effect yet, but we should. Because that's basically what week 5 of the Dallas Cowboys San Francisco 49ers was, as the San Francisco 49ers destroy the Cowboys 42-10 in a. So, you remember you talking about props, and I don't know if you brought one for this week, like you had your shades.
So I was going to, but due to the lack of performance from the Cowboys, I did not bring it. So
Well, maybe,
we'll just have to see if it comes.
maybe if there's
later.
medicine that helps performance, maybe we need to get them Nutrijex or whatever.
We do.
What's that? What's that pill that?
Nutrigenics.
Yeah, maybe we need
Yeah.
to send that
Frank
to them.
Thomas.
He'll like it too. Maybe we need them to like it too.
Yeah,
Um,
something.
but so anyway, first of all, not congratulations to you, but Dak is getting closer. He felt he is underperforming for you to get to the record.
Yeah.
So he threw three picks last week.
He did.
One of them looked like the San Francisco 49ers guy was the intended receiver.
He ran a good route.
Oh,
He's
he's like,
the
hey,
best
hey,
player on our team.
hey, 9 route, ready, go.
Yep.
And then the other two, I don't know who he was throwing to. There was one that was like literally trying to throw it between you two that hit George Strait back there and came nowhere near. George Strait's in the studio. But
George Strait in studio.
in studio, we Coach Love Studio. Hey, look, he Chris. But anyway, so 42-10, and Brock Purdy looked like the guy that was not drafted last. Dak Prescott, and as I was telling Coach Dungeon, to me, the thing about Dak, he looks like every throw is a 5-foot downhill putt to win the Masters. And just tenses up, and it just doesn't seem well. And again, I go back. Have we forgotten that we have number 88?
I think so.
I mean,
Yes.
he first round draft pick. And again, Harry Douglas was talking about it. They were just going off, and Danny Orlowski on Get Up this week about throw the ball to 88. He ought to get 12 to 15 targets a game. And, defensively, we looked a little rough. My question is this. Is the gap – now, Michael Parsons says they're not that much better. We just laid an egg. We can play better. What do you think? Do you think the gap is that big between 42-10 the Dallas Cowboys and San Francisco 49ers.
I don't think it's and listen to me. I'm off the bandwagon completely. That game disgusted me. I don't, and you can play this game. If they played 10 times, it wouldn't be like that. Whatever. I don't think that if they were to match up in the playoffs, I would not think I'd be picking the Cowboys to beat the 49ers at this point, unless some things change between now and then. But I also think that it was an especially bad game for the Cowboys, that you could tighten up a few things and make it closer. But I don't think there's really much sugarcoating it. Dak did not look good. The defense didn't step up, even though being put in situations that were difficult to step up in. It was just all around poor. Luckily, it's still baseball season, so I didn't really have to stew on it for very long. And I just turned off the TV and went to bed.
He was still riding that high.
So, what did you take away from this?
My takeaway is that Dak cannot deliver. That is my takeaway. Just, we've talked about Dak, and, he can't even throw 5 to 10 yards. This new offense that they're running, in McCarthy, I just felt like there wasn't a great plan, and the execution was terrible. Receivers were going the wrong direction. It just looked like they didn't know what the heck they were doing. Defense obviously didn't step up either. But, the blowouts that we have seen this year have come from the Dallas defense, not from Dak Prescott. We know that he struggles in the red zone. We can't even get to the red zone. And I don't know. For me, that game really showed me that we will not go far if we even make the playoffs.
Well, if it ended today, we would be the last wild card in. But the thing is we thought we would be, and we're going to see Sunday, and we'll talk more about it when we get to our picks. We're going to go visit Kellen Moore. And we're going to go visit Kellen Moore, probably going to face the best quarterback we've had all year. Brock Purdy looked good and had a lot of weapons with Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and Debo and Aku. But when it comes to quarterbacks, don't you think Justin Herbert's going to be the best one we've seen all year?
I still think it's better. Yes.
Absolutely.
And so we're about to get another test that not only you have to play in this. We saw this last Friday with Wiley Plainview. You got to go. They were at San Francisco. They flew back, hung out to start a little bit, and now they've got to go back and play Monday Night Football with, and again, you mentioned it, with a lot of people going to be watching the Rangers. And so I just didn't think we looked very good. I do think, and I got in a Twitter battle with Harry Douglas about he thought, the difference when McCarthy was playing, Aaron Rodgers had Driver and Jennings and Jordy Nelson. But my thing is we still have CeeDee Lamb, number 1 draft pick. Cooks, who was supposed to be brought in to open up and still a very productive receiver. Michael Gallup, productive receiver. Tony Pollard, supposed to be the man now. Who would have thought we would be missing Dalton Schultz and missing the tight end safety blanket, if you will, as much as we are? And now Landon Vander Esch is going to be out for a little bit. So now they're starting to come in and having to figure out a way. How do you turn it around? I think Monday night, do I think it's a must-win and your season's over if you lose? No. But I think for a morale perspective, for a B12 shot, I keep going back to that, for that opportunity to get better, you need to find a way to win. Go to the bye week, because it doesn't get any easier with Matthew Stafford and the Rams coming to town after the bye.
Well, then I think, is that going to be even more scared to air it out because he just threw 3 interceptions? It just seems like he is not poised in the pocket at all. Like you mentioned it. It's like he doesn't, I don't know, he just looks like he doesn't know what the heck he's doing or where he's going.
I think the biggest thing is he needs a confidence. He needs something to create some confidence. And some of that, you've got a good offensive line, you can't blame that anymore. You can't blame that.
Right.
You've got a good running back, you can't blame that. You've got to find a way to do that. So, anyway, the Dallas Cowboys do play Monday night. The good thing is we just found out, we'll tell you some exciting stuff that we found out that will help everybody in this room. And you won't have to have 2 TVs. Actually, you probably will. They'll still probably do some baseball. When we come back, our guest picker helps so many people. A company that's been around 85 years. She hasn't, but the company's been around 85 years. We'll be back right after this. All right, we got to read some of these.
I misread. I thought they were starting later than that.
Misty, go TT.
Okay, I'm not.
I thought they started at 6 o'clock, but I guess I.
All right, sir. Y'all will be there. I can't decide today. You got my pen, sir? I like to have my stick with piece.
I'm gonna need to go find the pen.
You can have this because I don't have to write anything down.
Oh, there's one.
Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of, we talked last year about sure we can willing to do it, so you and I together, and then I didn't think anything of it until I got that email, and I was like,
Well, then I get an email saying that, hey, back in May, you agreed to preside over all general sessions because nobody else wanted to. So, okay.
okay, yeah,
So,
they just can't keep anybody. I'm not surprised Cassie left. I think she left, but I'm not surprised. But okay, I'm back.
You sounded like my dad. You're like, no, Pinky. I was like, oh.
we gotta answer some of these
Are
We'll
we
ask
still on
you that
Naked and
question.
Afraid?
Yes.
Okay.
because we've had banana hammock, we've had
Oh my gosh.
banana hammock, we've had
See, this is great. Good question, Brock.
pants, shoes is winning.
Shoe. I totally didn't even think about shoes.
Actually, pants is actually winning. Phil Hill says blindfold.
Yeah. So yeah, depending on your partner, might not want to see
So is it just you and your partner, or do you see everybody naked and afraid?
No, it's just like
2 people.
me and Josh are naked and we're like trying to survive for guess how many days it is? 21 days. You have to be naked and afraid. So you're losing weight. Like the people don't
Good,
even
that's good
start.
diet program.
Like Josh would literally be like this big.
They usually lose
They-
like 20-30%.
They do.
Could you imagine
They
going to
lose
work?
a ton of weight.
What are you doing naked? I'm on the
on
naked
the
afraid
diet.
I'm on
diet.
the negative afraid diet.
Like I would be like,
Oh, is that
100
wrong?
pounds.
Should I have not have done that? I gotta tell you, if I do that sort of thing, it's frowned upon.
Yeah. I'd go back
All
to
right,
the
Sarah,
level
you're
as
up there
well.
with
Okay.
Misty.
Okay, here we go. And when you talk, you want to really get close.
Okay.
Yeah, I just.
Hey, we're gonna have 4 mics at the new place.
It's not a
Thank
new ed
you.
situation.
No, we'll just. I'll
That's
go in
right,
and
next
go-
week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Wait, yeah, we're gonna get another mic.
Still in the air.
I got a onesie.
You got a onesie.
Oh, one.
I just pictured Hodge in a onesie. The onesie might.
The whole naked.
It does, but it also keeps the bugs off of you and the sun.
That is true.
A onesie with a hood.
Is it like a full out onesie or like just a little like bodysuit onesie?
It's a
You gotta have a flap.
Well, the long ones have a flap.
I don't need it in the bag. Well, you might need it in the bag, but definitely gonna need one in the
I
front.
have a onesie that has a flap in the back. An adult reindeer onesie. Yeah.
Please wear that when we get closer to
I
Christmas.
will. Oh my god, that'll be my prom.
Oh,
Yes.
goodness gracious.
For pics. I said I'm gonna be Lee Corso and I'm gonna start bringing
You should.
things.
Welcome back to the Hodge Pack. It's time for our Oh You Didn't Know Celebrity Guest Picker. Excited to have a friend of mine, colleague, all the things, joining us in studio. The one that helps bring us our Big Country Electric My Town segment from Big Country Electric Cooperative, joining us, Sarah McLean. Appreciate you making the journey from Fisher County to here.
I'm glad to do it. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's talk real quick. First of all, the most important question that's been asked today is not who's going to win Saturday or Sunday in any contest. We've got banana hammock, we've got bug repellent shoes, we've got pants. Sarah, what would you bring? What would be your one item for Naked and Afraid?
I'm thinking the bug repellent shoes because I didn't realize there was such a thing, and a banana hammock probably wouldn't help me too much.
So there you go. Everybody can use shoes, but not everybody needs a banana
That's
hammock.
right.
And so sometimes, I don't know how to transition.
I
was gonna try to-
Like, thank you for
I was gonna-
confirming that.
I was going to try to make it an outage like for co-ops, but sometimes the line looked like a hammock. But anyway, so again, we mentioned it. Again, thank you. Y'all have been with us from day one on the show, so thank you so much for the support, not only from the power that you provide, but just being kind of behind our local segment that we do each and every week. So we appreciate that.
You're my bitch. great job, and we're glad to support you all the way through.
Well, and so 85 years, y'all kind of hit that. Taylor Electric will do it next year. Kind of talk about how y'all handled the 85 celebration and just what it means to kind of be a part of co-op.
Well, being a part of the co-op as an employee is awesome. I'm a second generation co-op employee, just like you, and it's been part of my life from day one. And we take very seriously, very passionate about our responsibility to our members. They're not our customers; they're our owners, our members, and our job is to serve them. And over the last few years, a lot of things have changed, but I think they've changed for us in a good way. We're doing some things to kind of honor the more traditional people, the older group, but also the younger group too, and try to get them more involved and really teach them what the difference is.
Well, and again, you've got 2 co-op members as residents here, and I think they understand being local. You're wearing the shirt local of being out people that are plugging back into your community. Matthew McConaughey's not giving back to the community through his Reliant commercials. But
What about Lincoln Town House?
no, not doing that either. But he may be giving away that. But he was looking for a hammock last week when Texas got beat. But anyway, so it is time. So again, Sarah, we appreciate it. Sarah and I were actually going to be next week at this conference. We're leaving this week. And actually, we're going to be on the same golf team on Tuesday. So that'll be exciting. Breaking news. But we're going to do a presentation next
That
week.
was hard work.
Yeah, it is. It is
Yeah.
gonna be
Are
hard
y'all
work.
hiring?
Well, trust me, people. Ours, I think we separate them from lunch and happy hour. So we've had the responsibility of not going too long. So it is a lot of work, Josh. You got to know when the clock's winding down, and the clock's winding down. So we've got to get to some picks. All right. So this first one, Josh, again, don't forget. Always go to. You can either go to hodgepacksports.com, go find our picks. We normally get them out. Josh selects the games on Tuesday. Need to get them in by the time about 8:50. So before we pick them, Josh, this is a tough one.
It is a tough
I know where you live, so I kind of feel like I know what you are doing. What are you doing with the Jim Ned Clyde game?
We're picking Jim Ned, but I do think it's going to be a hard game to win for either team, and it's district game. They border each other at times on the district lines.
And it's probably going to be the one who creates the most mistakes for the other team.
Agreed. The defense has to step up. And that is no offense to Coach Dungeon. He's a friend of the show, and he's coming here, and he's a really nice guy to talk to. But I'm picking Jim Ned.
I'm assuming Molly too.
And Molly and I picked 100% the same this week, so
Okay.
we'll just make that easy.
There you go.
So I'm going to go with Clyde. One of my coworkers, her son is a running back, and so I'm going to support my coworker, and I'm going to pick Clyde.
I'm going with Clyde too.
I hate to do this.
But he's going to change. Are you going to change your pick?
No, I'm a big fan. I love my people, but I think Blake Carr's going to be the difference, and I've got Clyde. I love you, Amanda, and I love you, Scotty Shipping. I'm going with Clyde. I'm doing a lot of this. I'm sorry.
We just made it a
You
meeting.
can't pick with your heart. If you do, you'll lose. But
I've done that the last
you
2
lose.
weeks.
Sorry.
You lose anyway.
Well, I do that a
so-
lot. Sorry. So moving on. Big one tomorrow. College game day is in Seattle. I've got one of you got to win. You can't tie, so that's not going to happen. I'm going Washington. I think they're going to be in the top 4. I've got the Huskies winning at home and keeping my prayer alive. Josh.
We went with Oregon.
Yeah, I am kind of on the Washington train, but I've got Oregon in this game.
Yeah, but what? She's got Washington's top 4 people. Okay.
Yep, I'm on.
I went with Oregon.
Oregon Ducks. All right, I'm the Lone Ranger on the Huskies. All right, A&M, Tennessee. You'll be able to hear it right here on KLGD. I've got Coach Heupel and the Tennessee Volunteers. A&M, I still think they're trying to figure out a way how to buy out Jimbo.
Same.
I'm going to still try for the Aggies. I need to see something turn around.
I went with the Aggies too, same reason.
All right, Aggies, maybe they'll turn around. Don't forget you can tune in tomorrow, 2:30 kickoff right here on KLGD1069.com. USC Notre Dame, this is one again. USC, Josh, you mentioned they're the one of the 3 teams, can be one of the only 2 teams undefeated of the Pac-12 when it's over. We're going to let Misty go first.
Okay, I'm going Notre Dame. I think, like we talked about, location is going to be key.
Fighting
You're
Irish.
great.
Fighting
Agreed.
Irish. Fighting Irish.
I went with USC. I'm a Lincoln Riley fan.
Actually, y'all were there at Muleshoe. Yep.
Awesome quarterback. I still look at him and think he's a great kid. So
Yeah, the irony is of the two people that grew up in Muleshoe and Dimmitt, Caitlin Buckley and Lincoln Riley, you never have thought it. They actually fit perfect in LA. Little blonde, Lincoln, literally not Ken and Barbie, Lincoln and Caitlin. But I've got Notre Dame as well. Sorry. Texas Tech and K-State. Tech big win last week against the Bears. I'm going to go on a limb. What do y'all got? Y'all got Texas Tech?
We got Tech.
Yeah, that momentum is going to flow.
I went with Tech.
I got Tech too. I think Coach McGuire, and again, location, shoot. Miami and North Carolina. Miami again, the debacle, the disaster of the week. I've got North Carolina. I think you just cannot go against May. The kid can play. They got the Tez Walker kid back at receiver, and I just like Mac Brown. I'll be honest with you. Sideline CEO. He's been my favorite one in that book. I've got UNC winning.
We've got UNC as well, and I agree with you. And it's a home game for them in Miami after that debacle. I think it's just going to be hard to get the mind right.
I'm going to go out on a big limb, and I'm going to say they flip it and get it right, and it's Miami.
Oh, you're going the Hurricanes, huh?
I went with North Carolina.
All right, there you go. North Carolina for us. One Hurricane. Hold on to the branches. The Tar Heels taking you out. Oregon State, UCLA. Oh, Chip Kelly got some things going good. I've got Oregon State. The Beavers going to.
Same.
I've got UCLA on this one.
Oregon State.
All right, Misty's going to have a chance to make a big deal. And again, I remind you, Talon Cobb is still the only one. Coach Lee couldn't do it. Coach Wardis, Greg, Tara, nobody's been able to do it to beat Molly except Talon Cobb. All right, Jags, Colts, no Anthony Richardson, but maybe getting Jonathan Taylor back. Gardner Minshew is a very capable backup, but I still think Sunshine and the Jacksonville Jaguars take care of the Colts.
Agreed.
Agreed, it's the Jags.
I went with the Jags.
There you go. Jags all the way around. Lions, Bucks. This is the game of the week. I'm going to tell you right now. Everybody's talking about all these other quarterbacks. The Lions are good. Everybody's forgetting. Todd Bowles is going to win Coach of the Year. Misty said it last week. Baker Mayfield's playing really good. He's got some weapons. He's got Micah Evans. He's not Micah, just Mike. I've got the Bucks winning this. This is I don't know if it's called a super dog. I don't know if you're going to call that a big gamble. I've got the Bucks winning that. They're bringing out the pretty orange uniforms too. Tampa Bay Bucks.
I'm going Lions. I mean, I do like what the Bucks are doing. We talked about it last week, but I've also been on the Lions train for the last couple of years, and I want to see the Lions take this one.
Sarah?
I went with Lions.
All right, what do you got?
Yeah, I think there's going to be some kneecap biting. The Lions will go ahead and pull it out.
All right, so you got the Lions. I'm the only Buck. Baker, find a way to make it work. All right, finally, the last game. None of us have filled it out yet. I don't know if Misty did, but she's going off her phone. I've not filled it out yet. I have not been real sure. Last week, you didn't know what you wanted to do. See, I think it's your fault. If you'd have picked the 49ers, we would have won. But so it is your fault. No longer Dak. Yeah, not Dak's fault anymore. Josh, who do you got?
I went back and forth many, many times. I'm going Cowboys. I do think the Cowboys are still good enough to go and rebound. This is with some consternation. I'm not just like 100%, but I got Cowboys.
Same. I'm still in pain, but they better beat the Chargers.
As much as it pains me, I went with the Chargers.
Sarah, I'm actually going to agree with you. I have picked the Chargers. I'm hoping I go 9-1, and I hope I'm wrong. But like anything else, I need you to prove it to me.
Oh, I agree.
And until you do, I'm going to have a hard time with it. I may even pick bye the next week if we don't play better on Monday night. So anyway, I've got the Chargers, the Lone Ranger on the Chargers, Lone Ranger on the line of the Bucks, hopefully, and the Huskies.
And I do have to make a correction. I was wrong, so I'll admit it. The Rangers, I thought, started at 6 on Monday. They start at 3:37. I don't know what I read. I thought it was 5-something, 5:45.
So you can kill two birds with one stone on Monday.
It's a long evening.
So let's meet at Mulligan's.
It's a long day. Sarah, thank you so much for coming in. Hopefully you'll be smarter than a fifth grader and get number 2. We'll see. So far, Talon Cobb's the only one. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Be on the lookout next Friday. The Hodge Pack. We'll be back with you. Sports Life and everything in between. Good luck to all your teams tonight. Hope they win. See you next week.
Yeah, the Cowboys are just,
They are very.
I really don't think they're that
It
good.
was that game really exposed a lot of weakness.
Well, the problem is, I don't know how much of it exposed it, or did it show how good San Francisco is. And now that the fact that Deshaun Watson